Hello everyone and welcome to a reading wrap-up for another Readathon. You're going to see quite a few of these popping up. I really like participating in readathons. So this particular readathon was for Bookemon, and it was a holiday specific readathon. It took place during the entire month of February. I will list the host and the co-hosts in the description box so you can find those. If I can, I will also link the Discord because there is a Discord channel. So the goal for this particular readathon is we were given an image with several different Valentine specific treats, and each had a dollar amount assigned to them. And the goal was to purchase the treats by reading a book and to purchase $25 worth of Valentine treats. So I reached $40, so I definitely completed that. There were a total of 12 prompts, and I completed all but 2 of these prompts, so I feel like I did pretty well. So I'm purposely sitting a little bit more to the side because there's some that I will insert the images of. So prompt number 1 was truffles. These were valued at $2. This is to read from a favorite genre, and I am really enjoying romance right now, whether it's spicy or clean. I don't care. I'm just really enjoying romance. So I have the discreet version here, which just has the couple's name on the front. In this case, it was Cain and Ava, and there's nothing on the back. So the title and the synopsis are on the front, or on the inside, excuse me. And this is Rough Touch by Willow Winters. I will insert an image for the cover so you can kind of see what it is about. I like the simplicity of the discreet, so I am trying to collect these ones. This one is book number 3 in the Valent crime family series. This is a mafia romance. It is dark. His hostage, as you can tell, involves being a hostage, and it does get very spicy. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It was 235 pages. It's kind of like a touch, hurt, and die type of a trope, but it's to the extent that the main male character has to act like everything's okay. His family had an issue where they are no longer a mafia family. He's getting a job because someone ratted out the family or something like that. And he's one of the lone survivors from his mafia family. So he attaches to another family and to have a job in the mafia. And this family that he attaches to wants to get into sex trafficking. Enter Ava, who is their trial project for the sex trafficking. Obviously, Cain, who is the main male character that we're following, does not like this. She is a hostage to the mafia family, and they've got to act a certain way. So this one, you do have mentions of suicidal ideation, attempted suicide, things like that. So please be aware. These are dark. It is, again, and it is mafia. So especially with the sex trafficking in there, there is another mafia family that is brought up, which is the Valent family, and they want nothing to do with the sex trafficking. And so you're kind of seeing the dynamic and the rivalry between the two mafias. So that was interesting, but I had a great time with it. 4 stars. Prompt number 2 was for cookies, which were valued at $2, and this was to read a manga or a graphic novel. This was easy because this month I read a lot of mangas and graphic novels. For this one, I read Claudia and the Mean Janine, written by Anne M. Martin. Now, this is, so Anne M. Martin wrote the, does it say in here? But she wrote The Babysitter's Club. I remember seeing them in the 90s. So these are graphic novel adaptations to these. It says text copyright 2008, but I remember seeing these. I'm not sure when the original Babysitter's Club was published, but this is an adaptation of the original. They just changed it into a graphic novel format. The art in this particular one is by Raina Telgemeier. The art does change. It goes to a different artist in the next book, which is number 5. This is number 4 in the graphic novel adaptations. Claudia, with 4 of her friends, they have a babysitter's club. People in the neighborhood call them saying they need a babysitter while they go out. You know, obviously you know what a babysitter is and things like that. So in this one, It's the animosity is really shown between Claudia and her older sister. Her older sister is very much a perfectionist. Claudia is more free-spirited, and so you do see that conflict and animosity there. Content warning in this particular one, you do have the grandmother in this has a medical emergency to the point that she cannot talk and she can't move and has to go through rehab and slowly gains functions of her faculties back, type of a situation. Was it a stroke? I think it was a stroke. So you do have that in there. But it was fun. I'm really enjoying being back in these. I loved the Babysitters Clubs in the 90s when I was a kid. I loved reading this, so these are very nostalgic for me. I gave this one 4 stars and it was 162 pages. And again, the artist does change. I don't recall who the artist is for the next one, but I did look at the entire series, and there's, like, the next artist does 2 or 3 of them, and then there's a new artist. So the Raina Telgemeier only does 1 through 4 in this series. Prompt number 3 was to get a chocolate bar valued at $2, and this is to read a book that is part of a series. I read another graphic novel. This one's a middle grade graphic novel, and this is Katie the Catsitter. We're following the main character, Katie. It's a middle grade graphic novel. We're at the end of the school year. She wants to go to summer camp with her friends, but her and her mom cannot afford it. It is a single parent household. So Katie is looking for odd jobs to try and save money. She's finding out certain things that she struggles with and other things that she might possibly be good at. There's this lady who is a tenant in the apartment complex that Katie lives in who owns over 200 cats. And so Katie volunteers to help with the cats, to go and cat sit at night when the tenant of that other apartment goes out to do certain jobs and stuff like that. And so she just cat sits, and you're following as these cats get on the computer. They can sew, they can do all these weird things. They know kung fu, they know, you've got a list of them here somewhere. But yeah, you have a cat that's a fashion designer, an architect, a beekeeper, is good at charisma, is a laser expert, does construction, things like that. Animal activism is a big thing in this, and not at the like PETA level, but still trying to make a better life for animals, as well as falling out with friends. And so you do have the harder hitting topics, but you also have the normal everyday topics that a lot of middle graders can possibly face as far as dynamics with friends possibly changing. So it was fun. Gave that one a 5 star, and it was 205 pages. Next up, I will insert the image of this next book, was to get Macaroons at $3, and this was to read a book that you think will be an acquired taste. In my mind, poetry is an acquired taste. I do like poems, but I know that the subject matter of the poems can be very much an acquired taste, and so this one I figure would been a poetry is a great thing for an acquired taste. I read Promises of Gold. This is a book that I won from a Goodreads giveaway. I did not rate this book. What I liked about this book, it was translated from Spanish. The first, I don't want to say the first, but half of the book, so about 137 pages was told in English. The other 137 pages were in the original publicated language, which was Spanish. And so for me, instead of 74 pages, it ended up being only 137 pages. The author of the book talks about, his parents being immigrants, about the healthcare system in the United States, about family, all this other stuff. It was enjoyable. I just have a hard time reading that in this particular case. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. For this one, I just couldn't settle on a rating, so I just did not rate it. There were some things that I did find profound in this. Like there was one that talked about, what was it? Like actually helping someone versus saying that you will, but never following through. So anyway, it was good. So I ended up, again, 0 stars, and I only read 137 pages of that because that's the only part of the poetry that was in English. Okay, prompt number 5 was a chocolate strawberry valued at $3, and this was to read a romance. For this one, I did an ebook, which was Snowbound Secrets by Jordana Pearce. This does get a little steamy. It was 3 stars and 100 pages even. For this one, it is a bodyguard romance that takes place at a workplace. The main female character is taking over for her dad. There were not so great business practices to the point that there are death threats made to some of the higher ups in the business. And at one point, the main female character has like this severed animal head. Not a cat or dog, I will say that. It's more of a wild animal. But still, it's still an animal head found on her doorstep. So she, because of that, has to get bodyguards. So she has a total of 3 bodyguards, and they kind of rotate as far as one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon, and one's in the evening. And the one in the evening is the one that she has chemistry with, and they are caught having sex in the workplace. And it just goes from there. Prompt number 6 was to obtain the chocolate lollipop, valued at $3, and this was to read a book that has at least 50% red on the cover, so at least half of the cover is red. For this one, I went with 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. Red, black, and white. As you can see, the red and different shades of red makes up about half of the cover. So this was the selection, YA selection, because February was the YA month. YA book for Autism Reads, which is a read-along that I host where we read a book by an author that is autistic every month, and this was the selection for February. Please be aware this one does have child abuse. The main character that we're following is 15, so you've got emotional and physical child abuse as well as neglect. He has a little 5-year-old sister, and he is forced. The family it's an immigrant family. They immigrated from Germany. He refers to his mother as the maestro, and she is forcing him to play the piano. And if he gets hurt, like if he were to break a finger playing sports, he would be in big trouble, to the point that he would be abused for something that's probably not his fault. So either way, the abuse, I don't mean probably not his fault. Well, whether or not the accident is his fault. Like, did he make a choice that caused him to have that, or it was just kind of an accident? Either way, he doesn't deserve the abuse. Plain and simple. So he was forced to play music, classical music. He would like to compose his own music. He has this song inside of him that he would like to get out and compose on the piano, but the maestro, his mother, does not want that. He has to stick with playing only what she approves, which are certain scales and like Chopin and things like that. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It was very uncomfortable at times because of the amount of abuse that was in there. So again, please head in with caution. And this was 276 pages. Prompt number 7 was to obtain the cupcake, which was $5. This is to reread a favorite. For this one, I read the 4th book in a series, which is the final book in this particular series, and that is Creepy Cat by Valent. This is a manga, paranormal, gothic cats. You have a witch, you have a vampire in this. You can see there is a Ouija board on the cover. But these cats, some of them can float, some of them can multiply, they can change their sizes. Some of them, their body can lengthen really long, and then they end up with a bunch of little arms and feet to where they're like a centipede or a millipede. And yeah, it's just, that's pretty much all it is. This was short, it's 125 pages. All you need to know going into this is it's paranormal, it's gothic, and there are cats. There is a pug later on in the series. I think the pug shows up in volume 2, but other than that, it's ghostly cats. So I love this series. This is just a great series. 5 stars. Prompt number 8 was to obtain the chocolate box valued at $5. This is to read a book that you don't know what to expect from. This one, I did a group read that was not the group read for Bookemon. This was for a different group that I was trying to participate in, and the group read was Hard Times by Charles Dickens. I read the ebook version of this, ended up giving it 4 stars at 326 pages. I have come to find I do like Charles Dickens' writing, and he is more well known for his A Christmas Carol or Christmas Story book, but I liked this one a lot better. And I have never heard of this book, so I had no idea what to expect from this one. This one, starts taking place at a school, and the adults are trying to alter the way that children think. They try to prevent them from having fantastical imagination. It's very cut and dry, black and white. This is what it is type of a situation. They don't want them to have an imagination or think outside of the box. They want them to have very rigid thinking and all the thinking approved by the adults type of a situation. So I found this very good. You do have loss of a parent in this. And do keep in mind where this was written in the 1800s. There might be a little rough thinking that we don't now do, if that makes sense. And for example, like women can't do certain things and shouldn't be allowed to do certain things back in the 1800s, where now we don't think like that type of a situation. So just be aware of that. But it was good, and I really enjoyed it. Prompt number 9 is to obtain the chocolate milkshake valued at $5. And this one is to read something that you find, or a book of that. Okay, let me start this over. The prompt is to read a book that you have someone you find attractive on the cover. Well, that's a lot of romance books, in my opinion, which is what I read. I read the ebook version of Halloween Bites, written by Hardison Parker. Bare-chested, rippling abs, chiseled, attractive man on the cover. I give this one 3 stars. It was 37 pages, so definitely a short story. This is part of a Monstrous Mistake series. You can read these in any order. They're all written by different authors. They just all have the same premise, where they are a human falling in love and having sex with a monster, whether it be an alien, a gargoyle, the Grim Reaper, a vampire, things like that. So, and they all take place, at least the ones that I have read, take place starting on Halloween, and some of them end later on Halloween or the next day. There was one that I read that took place over the course of a year, except it was more like most of it took place on and the day or two after Halloween, and then it was flash forward like a year. So they're just short stories that all take place on Halloween, and they are spicy. So prompt number 10 was to obtain the jelly bag valued at $10, and this is to read a book that is below a 3-star average rating on whatever platform that you use. I use Goodreads. Everything that I read in the month of February, I am filming this wrap up on the last day of February of 2024, which is February 29th. Nothing had less than a 3-star average rating. Everything was, I think the lowest was a 3.4 something, so right around a 3.5 star or higher for everything that I've read. So this prompt I was not able to fulfill this month. Prompt number 11 was to obtain the chocolate fountain valued at $10. This is to read a book that was 600 pages or more, where I mostly read graphic novels and mangas. This did not happen. The longest book I read, I think was it 500 pages? Definitely over 400 pages, but it was a graphic novel. The longest novel I read was over 300, I think just shy of the 400 page mark, like 390 something pages. So a 600 page book I did not get to. The final prompt was to obtain the chocolate teddy valued at $10. This one was to read a book that has at least 3 animals on the cover. There was a question on the Discord group for the Bookemon if it could be the same animal, and the answer was yes. So that's what I'm going with. All the animals on this cover were cats. So I read the 3rd book in the Katie the Catsitter series, which was Secrets and Sidekicks by Colleen A.F. Venable. As you can see, there are several cats here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cats there on the cover. Middle grade. She wants to be a sidekick for a superhero. There's more talk of superhero sidekicks. More talk of super villains, things like that. And there are secrets that are told that, kids keep teenagers especially keep secrets from their parents, and the parent finds out generally. That is the case with this one. And you can see the disappointment and of one, being caught, two, of finding out that your child has kept a secret from you, and seeing that dynamic play out is there. I ended up giving this one 5 stars, 211 pages. So those are the books. 12 prompts, I completed 10, and I got a total of $40, so I did complete this readathon. So I get the special Bookemon, because I was only supposed to, the goal was to reach $25 worth of Valentine's candy on this, and I definitely exceeded that. So I got the special Valentine's Day bag Bookemon, so I'm happy about that. Let me know, are you participating in Bookemon? Did you do the Valentine's Day bag readathon for February, and what was your favorite read of the month? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.